Hey, it's Chris, Liege of Games. Let's talk something new this week. What I'm going to be doing, instead of the usual news roundup, I thought I'd do something just slightly different than what everyone else is doing. I thought I would answer viewer emails. Emails that are totally legit, totally not made up on the spot, totally things that people are sending to me, wondering about topics in the board game community, so that we can talk about them and discuss them. So, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just get straight into the emails and let's see what we've got in there in the old inbox, right? Okay. Let's pull up the old email here. And email number 1. Okay. Very short one here. Email number 1. Dear Sir Liege, what is a KDM and how do I obtain it? Sincerely, a concerned FOMOer. Well, Mr. or Mrs. or concerned FOMOer, let's talk about what a KDM is and what is going on with it at this point. A KDM is a Kingdom Death Monster, 1.5 edition if you're not familiar. It was funded back in 2017 when it was all of the rage and the highest funding game on Kickstarter at the time. Why is it coming back into prominence after almost 4 whole years? That's because every year at this very time, well, this past weekend of the Black Friday to the Cyber Monday, the backer kit has opened ceremoniously for people to add additional content that they did not buy previously and yet still want to receive sometime within the next decade. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look. So, this was Kingdom Death Monster, the ultimate dungeon crawl with an AI innovative deck system that many games have been based on since then. You can see that it raised $12 million, 20,000 people almost getting it, and plenty more since then. The 1.5 was the new version, and they added a bunch of stuff. They added something called a Gambler's Chest, where they added a whole bunch of content. They added 12 new expansions, reprints of the old expansions, a whole bunch of pinups, whatever those are, and just a little bit of everything else. So why, 4 years out from funding, is this game making waves over on the hotness? Well, that's because they really haven't delivered any of the new content from this game. Any of the new content from this game, even though it funded 4 years ago. And, you know, as most people know at this point, Kickstarter backers are completely reasonable and utterly patient people. However, it's finally reaching the breaking point, it seems like, because they have said that the newest of new, the Gambler's Chest, which is known as quote-unquote Wave 3, is going to maybe be to people by the end of 2022. Most people are saying in the comment section, though, it's not actually going to be there because it actually hasn't gone to production. And with all the shipping lane issues nowadays, that's also been a bit of a quagmire. And the other issue that goes along with this is you can't even get the base game right now at their retail shop because it doesn't show up anywhere else. They don't do distributors. They don't do anything else. Heck, you can't even get most of the expansions from the original game right now. I think you can get, what, 1 or 2 of them maybe? Let's see. Spedicules? Nope, sold out. Nope, that's it. Can't get any of them right now, it looks like. So, the problem with that is they're all going for about 2 to 3 times the retail value on the secondary market and have been for probably about the past 2 years. Ish. Maybe a little less than that, actually. So, it's not even feeding anything in. Constant delays, constant issues, constant new whatever these are, instead of more of the stuff that is there in the first place. Oh look, no expansions. None are available, none in stock. And that's the problem. Is there seems to be this concern about, the designer's gonna do everything and he's done everything going right and everything's... Well, these are all getting put up and there's no reason to have these if you're working on the other stuff and you said that the other stuff was going to be done months and months and months ago. And there's debates upon debates upon debates going on this in the comment section of the Kickstarter and on Board Game Geek itself. But Why is the other issue? Is it suffering from the usual Kickstarter bloat in a different way? That this Gambler's Chest was supposed to be done and sent to people by the end of 2018. And the issue with that is now you can start to see, because it sort of took along the motto of Black Rose Wars, the Sator box, where all of a sudden they've increased the shipping cost and wanted to pass it on to consumers because they had decided to add a whole bunch more stuff. Well, that's what's happening with these expansions, right? This is the original Kickstarter price right here in this far left column. This right now, if you went in this past weekend and wanted to order this expansion, it is now $100 more than it was during the Kickstarter. Nearly every single one of these is potentially 150% to nearly 200% of the original Kickstarter price. Is that really because the production costs have gone that much up in 4 years? Well, I believe they've gone up, but I believe that they're also just adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff and bloat. People care if it's going to be good, but at some point, also, could you have too much? You know? If you're someone trying to get in now, are you shooting your new audience in the foot? I mean, this is boutique for a reason. They call this a boutique shop. I mean, it's self-labeled a boutique shop in the first place for that reason, right? To appeal to the connoisseur. And look at this, though. I mean, we're talking all of these expansions. None of these expansions are going to go for less than $100 at retail. One expansion. That's insane. You're looking at a total MSRP of some of these pledges, as someone said down below right here. If you got the Satan pledge, which was like all of the new stuff, essentially, you got it for $16.66. The MSRP right now of this is going almost $5,000. What? I have seen other videos talking about KDM where they're going, I wouldn't spend $400 on a game. You're talking $5,000 on a game. Can you imagine someone trying to get in on this right now? Going, what do I need? Do I want some of this new stuff? This new stuff looks really cool. What do you think? $250 for an expansion that I might have in another 4 years. I'm sort of being facetious there with the 4-year thing. I'm also not at all in that sense. The only nice thing is that some of these promo things down here haven't really changed, and because they can't really do anything different with them. They've been out in the past. So it's all this new stuff, which is, again, insane. So if you're looking for it, it's even hard to get it on the secondary market right now. People aren't selling it, or you can't even get the core. You know, for a while, people were selling the core for like $325 or $350, and, you know, you can get it, and, you know, and then now you just can't even get that. Now you're going to pay above retail because they haven't even gone back and done the original stuff. Like, if you're waiting to get stuff done and you need funds, well, why don't you just reprint some of the usual stuff, and then instead of having all of this stuff instead? I mean, the secondary market, it's like they're trying to create an artificially enhanced secondary market, because they also do this. You can see that these one models are $27 each, and they do like a run of like 100. They could easily do runs of more, but it's the scarcity that they're trying to make. So, dear FOMO collector, that's what you need to know. There's nothing that you're missing out on. You're better off waiting another decade and picking it up from people, you know, that are eventually going to get burned out of this, or just want to get rid of it at a retail lower price. Because you're going to end up with a lot of people with shelves and shelves full of just this one game that will never get to it and collect things. Is it a great game? Yeah, it's a great game. Is it worth the price? No, not really. Especially if this is going to start to be the actual cost at retail of this stuff anywhere near here. No, I'm sorry. I like it a lot. I have a copy. Are any of these expansions probably worth this much? No. There you go. Okay, back to the emails. Email number 2. Dear Totally Cool Liege Dude, why you no talk more about the board game values? I like my value in my games, then I potentially like to play them. You know, if I ever decide to take them out of the shipping boxes. Thanks, Cole E. Couture. Right. Okay. Let's talk about this one for a second. Let's pull up Kickstarter. Why don't I talk about value more? I don't talk about value as much as other people because I used to be concerned about that the most. With my first 3-4 years in this hobby, especially when I was doing crowdfunding, I looked at these and I go, oh geez, can I resell this if I really don't like this? You know, this is just too cool of a concept to miss out on. Oh man, oh, this looks like an awesome game. Let's pull this up. Oh man, I don't want to have the FOMO of this asymmetric game. Oh, is it going to be at retail? I don't know. Oh, look at this quote. This is the most impressive game I've played this year. Oh, can I afford to? Yeah, I can. I can afford to miss out on it. Because a game unplayed is still more money I've spent that I'm losing out on than if I don't spend out on the first place, right? I don't buy this game to resell it if it doesn't work for me to not lose money. I buy games nowadays, whether it's this or any one of these. That was weird. I buy them to play them. So when I pull up my backed projects nowadays, I don't want to be looking through my successful pledges and go, you know what? Oh, don't have this one in my collection anymore. Don't have this one. Don't have this one. Don't have this one. How many of you can go through your successful pledges and say that you still have the majority of those games and that you play the majority of those games and have played and enjoy them? I found myself when I clicked those projects that said got it right there, that I had it, but I wasn't interested in anymore, or I had it and I'd already sold it, or I was planning on selling it, or I had no interest in it whatsoever anymore. And so I don't back things anymore from that side of things, because when I am buying these games, I am not buying them to collect them. I'm not buying them with the FOMO. I'm not buying them with the plan to resell if something doesn't work out. I'm buying them because I want to play them. I mean, you can see what I'm backing right now and what I've backed recently. So, you know, full cards on the table here. I don't collect. I am not in a business that is revolving around board games. I'm not. Talking about these things is fun. Playing them is even better. My revenue comes from the job that I work, not this channel. Am I frugal? Absolutely. Have my interests changed? 100%. Do I mind backing stuff at retail versus Kickstarter? Do I take that into mind? Absolutely. Because I've also seen that the other FOMO on here is get it sooner. There's no reason to back it on here and pay an extra cost apart from getting it sooner. And that's the other side of things I have no interest in. That is being preyed upon now more than others, is get our deluxeifications, get our game earlier, but you're going to pay more. Which, you know, okay, sometimes for things I really, really, really support. But a lot of it is just also preying on FOMO. It's preying up on the hotness. It's preying up on keeping up with your neighbors. The grass is always greener. Oh, that channel just hyped that game and reviewed that game. Oh, now I'm going to be behind the 8-ball. Nope, can't do it. Won't do it. I like talking about the new stuff, but I'm not happy talking about that fully. I like talking about everything. So that is why I do not talk about value as the number one priority in most of my videos. Just don't. There you go. Let's go back to the emails. Email number 3. Let's see what we got. Email number 3. To whom this may concern, we write to inform you that you have been selected to collect $1 million US doll hairs. All you need to do is send us the princes of faraway land, your bank account password information. We'll make sure you get what's coming to you. Legit for sure. Scammy our use. Okay, right. Email number 4. Liege, I know you're the Kickstarter dude and all, but tell me about some cool upcoming retail games that other people totally haven't hyped to the moon yet. Thanks, bro. The pre-order king. Okay, I got just a couple games for this that I am super interested in. Okay, I'm gonna give you 2, well, let's do 3 very quickly. I'm going to give you 5 retail games that you need to be aware of that are coming out, sometime in the next 6 months, who knows, something like that. I don't know, whatever. Games that are super interesting to me that I really want to have in my collection. And you know me at this point that I don't back retail a lot. Back retail. You know what I mean. First up is Mega Man Adventure. You may know the only other Mega Man game out there from Jasco, the disaster that was on crowdfunding and everything that went along with that. But this is a new Mega Man Adventures games. And Blacklist Games has enlisted the one and only Michael Kelly from One Stop Co-op Shop to help design this game. And you can actually pre-order it on Blacklist's website right now. $40, not too bad. I'm super interested in this. It's a co-op with Mega Man, right? They have a little playthrough right here, and it's going to be kind of a cool thing. I'm really actually excited about this because Michael and he doesn't have a clue who the heck I am. I'm way too small to even be noticed by most of the big channels. Has very similar taste as I do. We share a lot of commonalities. We share a lot of commonalities when it comes to taste, especially in co-op. So I'm really excited if he's the mind behind this, and this really has his interests at the heart of this game. I could really see myself liking this game and have been keeping a close eye on this since I first heard about it a couple weeks ago. So that is number 1. Number 2 of the base games. Well, I mean, Bullet Star. I am halvesies on the pre-order side of things. I just got Bullet Orange. My wife said she doesn't like this game whatsoever, and that just makes me want to order Bullet Star more, because I love Bullet. And this is apparently a standalone. I don't really like that. I don't really need a standalone. I just want another, like, Orange was very small, very nicely sized. This real-time shoot 'em up, asymmetric powers, boss mode, solo mode, head-to-head, competitive, knock bullets off of your board onto the other person's board as you pass them along. This is going to be one of the best games of my year of 2021. I have no doubts about telling you that, and just more of it in a great way is always going to be cool, in my opinion. So that is one that I will have no doubts about hyping from that side of things. The third base game is a game that has sort of fallen under the radar a little bit. It's from Pandasaurus. It's called That Time You Killed Me. I don't think it's gotten as much hype is because it's a 1 versus 1, and you're basically time traveling chess, essentially, and you're trying to destroy the other person so that you win and you become, I think, the person that invented time travel, essentially. And it's just kind of a cool 3D-esque game where you've got a lot going on. It just is kind of, like I mentioned, those 3 boards, and you're going back and forth, and you've got different chapters of escalating difficulty, they say, and early thoughts and early comments on it are very positive. Now, most of it has been reviewer copies that have been sent out by Pandasaurus beforehand. Unfortunately, I didn't get one, so I pre-ordered it. And you know me, I don't do that often. And I have this one on my radar since they first announced it months and months ago to the reviewer media email that they send out. And I just love the concept of it. And I love abstract. And my wife will play abstract with me all the time. And this, I love time travel, Doctor Who, all over the place. So this was striking. And so I just couldn't resist it. And so this is going to be something I think that a lot of people are going to like, but also not a lot of people are going to be interested in. I don't think that a lot of the bigger channels are going to cover this one nearly as much because a lot of them don't really do 1 versus 1s, and a lot of them don't really do much retail, and a lot of them don't do abstracts. Like, abstracts are some of my top games in my collection. I have no qualms about saying that. Same with 1 versus 1 games. So this one, striking on all accounts, is going to be awesome. Now, this is probably, this next one is the one that I am most excited for on this list. And you're going, Chris, what would have you more excited than a Bullet expansion? Because you've already said Bullet might be one of your top 5 games. Well, let me tell you, I found out about this last week, and I am, I can't stop grinning whenever I talk about it. The Loop is getting an expansion. The Revenge of Foezilla. Now, the issue being I have the original copy. Pandasaurus put out the recently released copy that it changes Dr. Fu to Dr. Foe. It's a play on words things, but I like being a Fu fighter, not a foe fighter. And I'm hoping the original company, Ketchup Games, will put out an original edition, The Revenge of Foezilla instead, because if you go over to some of the foreign board game shops like Zatu, they have it up as Fu. So I'm hoping that they will have a very limited English pre-order edition like they did with the original base game. And I'll pay double the price and I'll import it just to get the one that matches. But apparently this is adding this little Foezilla monster module thing and just more of everything else. So I am super excited by this game. This was my top game of 2020 before everyone else had it and before everyone else was singing its praises, and it's going to stay in my collection. It is going to be like a top 10 game for me, of my collection of everything of all time if I ever do one of those lists. And I am just super excited to get more of this in the Loop. It's just more loopy goodness, and I mean that in the best possible way. I love that game. Last up, and this is also super high on my list. Space Base is getting a new expansion. Space Base, The Mysteries of Terra Proxima. I have no clue what else it needs. I have no clue what else you can do, but I love Shy Pluto. I love the base game. It is probably my wife's favorite game in our collection. So when you're coming out more AEG with Space Base, it's a must-have from my standpoint. These are things that I hate backing retail because I'm always inevitably disappointed by retail side of things. It's just how I have bought stuff at retail in the past, half decade. but these all seem like super, super strong hits for me. And so I'm super interested in them from that aspect. And that was a long answer to a short email, but there you go. The only other one on my radar I'll give an honorable mention to is Ark Nova, which is something heavier than I've ever played, but it's zoo animals instead of a better terraforming Mars. And so that's super high on my list, but you can't get it in the United States right now. So I'm not going to worry about it, but that's why I'm talking about it. So let's go on to the next email. Hopefully the last email, because this is already going longer than I expected. Liege! Black Friday is past and Cyber Monday is upon us. What should I spend my money on? These deals, they all seem totally insane, and for sure not where prices were raised and then lowered, or mostly for games that aren't selling in the first place. What did you spend your money on this past weekend? Did you know your channel initials are log? You better log that. Oh, yay. Johnny on the spot. Oh, good. Johnny, okay. So what did I spend money on this past weekend, and what do I think of the Black Friday deals? So I perused a lot of those. I got all those emails, and I, was following a bunch of those threads on Reddit, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, where, we're listing all the deals, and we've seen all these deals here and these deals. And most of those are games that people are just kind of like meh on. And, again, buying a bunch of games cheap is not necessarily good, right? I mean, we don't need more games in my collection. I need more games that I'm going to play in my collection. And I have recently been on a binge, a small binge, a moderately sized binge of a certain game. And so I decided when this came out, this was actually a really good deal, because whenever these deals come out, the first thing you should be doing is you should be looking elsewhere. The one that I particularly use is Board Game Oracle. Board Game Oracle has done a great job at being able to say, okay, look, here are the daily price drops. Here you can compare a bunch of different websites, but then your other answer might be just Dr. Google, and just Googling it and, going through a few pages of search results and seeing what you can get and what you can find there. Yeah, it's more clicking. Yeah, it's more work. But if you really want a game that might be a little bit more expensive, you can sometimes find it at some of these smaller, less popularized or publicized sites than even the ones Oracle has. So it's really kind of going back and forth from that side of things. But I got the email and I went out and checked it out myself. And I went to the limited deals section of Level 99 Games' bundles. And a lot of this stuff, nope, I have all Millennium Blades. Don't need to buy any more of that. Imperial, not interested in. Blaze Blue, my review will be coming up shortly, hopefully in the next month before the end of 2021. Spoiler alert, excellent! I love it. And that's actually where it led me to, because there have been some reprint issues and some distribution issues and some just concern about where Street Fighter and 7th Cross and Shovel Knight are going to be in a couple years in terms of availability, especially with the Jasco license and the Street Fighter IP in this one, as well as the 7th Cross just never really hitting it, as well as the Shovel Knight, again, kind of being the one that really didn't really get a whole lot of attention, or expectation kind of didn't exceed what they were hoping for. See what I did there? And so what did I do? I went and bought a 7th Cross Exceed bundle. I mean, I went and priced it out. I went to Board Game Oracle. I went onto those websites, and these are going to run you anywhere between $18 to $22 a box. And not all of the stores have all of them in stock. And so it would be like mixing and matching and paying shipping for 2 here and 1 here, or 2 here and 2 here, and 3, 1 here and 1 here. And so, I looked at it, I priced it out, and, even with the shipping, with the discount code as a new buyer for Level 99 Games, I was able to get this at a good price, and it is on the way to me right now. And so I am really excited, because now I am going to be more than waist deep in Exceed between my Blaze Blue, which I am absolutely in love with, as well as now going to have the cool transformations of 7th Cross. Rest in peace, 7th Cross. That's a whole nother topic. Moment of silence for 7th Cross. We missed you, even though we never knew you. Okay, that's enough. So anyway, I have one of these and I'm super excited. I would love to end up with all of these and play them all at some point, but I thought that was the next entry point that was good. I'm probably going to go for Red Horizon next, and Street Fighter seems, actually, as much as I love the IP, I'm not in love with it as much as the other ones, so that's probably the last one I get. But that is what I spent my money on. Buyer beware over the weekend. Deals are not deals unless you're actually saving money, or unless you're actually buying stuff, again, that you're going to play. Just because it's on sale, if you're buying it and you're not playing it, or you're buying it as a bundle, it's not always a good deal. So be aware, because I also have heard a couple other sites, including ones that often have Kickstarter bundles or things like that, slowly increase prices a couple weeks or a couple months before, this time of the year, and then all of a sudden things are on discount when they're not really on discount. They're really just kind of the same price they were before, and that's how sometimes these things get you. So again, just be aware. Okay, what'd you buy on Black Friday? You get anything over the weekend? You get anything over that holiday weekend or the beginning of this month? Anything besides crowdfunding or anything that caught your eye? Or maybe you crowdfunded as your splurge to yourself instead of getting in on some Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. So that's what I did. You saw where I was at. So there you go. That's all I got. Those are totally legit, totally not completely made up names and emails that I made for this video in the first place. So let me know if you liked it. Let me know if it was way too cheesy. Let me know if it was just entertaining enough. I had fun. So, I mean, that's all that matters. I'm just not creative enough to do this on a weekly basis. So there you go. Have a great day. Stay classy. I'll see you around. Don't buy too much. I need to come up with better fake names. That is not where my strong suit is, clearly.